Welcome back to part 2 of our August 2026 Eclipse Corridor readings. If you are a Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, or Pisces, the universe is officially putting you on notice. We are moving through two massive cosmic events, the Total Solar Eclipse in Leo on August 12th and the high-potency Partial Lunar Eclipse in Pisces on August 28th. Let's get into it. Dear Libra, hello. Get ready for a hot, high-temperature August. Nobody's sitting this eclipse corridor out. The good news? A lot of lucky planetary alignments are working in your favor this month, and your ruling planet Venus sits right in your own sign. You're basically royalty of charm right now. Genuinely magical, and people adore you for it. On top of your own shine, there's Jupiter in Leo, a regal, harmonizing energy that almost crowns people, especially fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. They're getting the maximum benefit from this Jupiter transit, recognized, rewarded, radiating inspiration outward to everyone around them. For you, Libra, those fire people are most likely your partners, the people you're building a life with. Jupiter brings a kind of nobility to your partner's behavior, almost like royal blood woke up in them. Hopefully the good kind of royal, not literally blue-blooded. There's real pride here. Look who I get to build something with. And together you're planning big programs, big success. Jupiter's story really unfolds in stages, shining brightly from around late July through August, then shifting toward the end of August into something more serious and long-term, not just inspiration and good times, but real, substantial success later in November and December, when this energy, alongside Saturn in Aries and Mars in Leo, fully matures. So think of it as one long upward curve, rising popularity, recognition, and achievement for the fire people in your life, and by extension, you start shining brighter too. Here's the key nuance. This Jupiter boost isn't mainly about you personally. It's mostly about your partnership. It shapes the fate of your union, bringing pride, achievements, and big opportunities. Maybe career advancement for your partner, or meeting new people of high status, popularity, or royal energy through them. Adding fuel to the fire. We're in an eclipse corridor this August, which amplifies all of this. Like fate has written a script with no room to deviate, pulling you into a current of events that's hard to shake off. The August 12th eclipse falls right in Leo, and through your partnerships, personal and professional, it triggers a real transformation. But this transformation isn't really about you or your partner as individuals. It's more about the environment around you being reorganized. Your professional world, the space you feel connected to, is being renewed and restructured. Some old setup may be pushing you out entirely, while a new reality pulls you in with real force. Officially, the eclipse corridor runs August 12th to 28th, but honestly, I'd expect these themes to start showing up clearly from late July onward. That sense of stepping into a transformation of your previous reality will likely be felt from the very first days of August, maybe even sooner. One of the sweetest parts of this month, Venus in your own sign, that classic Libra charm, lightness, breeziness, seductive appeal, gets a serious magic boost, helping you hold on to these powerful people in your life and stay the most irresistible presence in any room. On one hand, you've got these people of power represented by Jupiter. On the other, you've got your own natural charm, letting you either run a romance or simply create that beautiful, pleasure-filled connection full of lightness, style, and aesthetic charm. Whatever dragon shows up, courtesy of Jupiter in Leo, you, as a true king or queen, know how to cast your net wisely or simply remain the most attractive presence to these powerful figures. One rough patch to watch, around August 19th when the black moon stirs up friction. Some misunderstandings, disagreements, or provocative moments. Outside of that, the stretch before the 17th and heading toward the 28th is genuinely rich with positive events. Jupiter runs like a golden thread through the entire month, never letting your inspiration dip, waking up with your eyes lit up and going to sleep feeling genuinely satisfied that life has room for this bright, celebratory, Leo-style Jupiter energy. The whole month carries that afterglow. Life really is a space full of possibility and potential. That's the general overview for Libra this August. I hope this forecast lifted your spirits a bit, because these positive themes are already starting to show up as we move through late July. We'll see how it all unfolds. Dear Scorpio, let's dig into August, the month of the eclipse corridor. Eclipse corridors always reshape the environment you live in, and in astrology, they carry a real flavor of fate. Most of the time, the stars work more like an invitation. Here's an option: take it or leave it. Eclipses are different. They're the moments when something arrives in your life that you simply can't undo. Think Jumanji. Once you've rolled the dice, you're in the game whether you like it or not. Eclipses aren't really about personal choice, what I want, what my priorities are. They're about the will of something much bigger than you. Picture a football match. One player might want to do whatever he pleases on the field, but there's a team, there are rules, there's a whole stadium roaring around him, and each level has its own logic. Most of the time, we feel free to live entirely on our own terms, but every so often, life pulls back the curtain on this much larger game we're actually part of. One where we're just one piece among many, important but far from the only player. That's what an eclipse does. It reminds you there's a bigger process at work, one that can shift you from one team to another without necessarily asking permission first. Here's an encouraging flip side, though. Eclipses are a wave, one that lifts some people and buries others. People born right around an eclipse corridor often end up leading organizations, clubs, or entire collective movements, almost like the referee of the field, living by the pulse of the group rather than their own personal agenda. They become imprints of their era, deeply tied to whatever's happening around them, often with less personal freedom than they'd like, but able to rise dramatically when the collective wave rises. This is essentially one of the biggest career elevators in astrology. Eclipse periods can lift someone to a completely new level that has nothing to do with personal effort and everything to do with being in the right place at the right time with the right people. Your job now is to sense whether this eclipse corridor is pulling you toward the future you actually want or somewhere less desirable. I'd expect that pull to start almost immediately, likely right after the July 29th full moon in Aquarius. The corridor itself formally runs August 12th to 28th, but that Jumanji feeling of being swept into an unstoppable current of events may well kick in from July 29th onward, carrying through the whole month. Now, for the specifics that matter most to you, your ruling planet Mars moves from Gemini into Cancer on August 11th. Until then, Mars in Gemini keeps you sharp, quick, and highly intellectual, solving problems easily, negotiating fast, handling logistics without breaking a sweat. Venus also spends the first week of August in analytical Virgo, so if you've got anything that needs solving with pure brain power, try to get it done before the 11th. That's your window of peak mental clarity and efficiency. Once Mars shifts into Cancer and Venus moves from Virgo into aesthetic, pleasure-loving Libra, the whole atmosphere changes. Cancer isn't about intellect, it's about emotion, intuition, and can bring a fair amount of inertia or laziness. After August 10th to 11th, logic takes a backseat to feeling, love, beauty, intensity, but mental clarity gets harder to hold on to. Expect a wave of vivid dreams around the 11th as you shift into a much more intuitive mode of functioning. For Scorpio, that's actually great news. Water is your natural element. Just get anything requiring sharp logical thinking wrapped up before the 10th, because after that, everything runs on intuition and feeling rather than analysis. From August 12th, with the eclipse in Leo, you're operating almost entirely on intuition. Think of your psyche as a ship with sails up. You'll genuinely feel which direction the wind is pulling you. This Leo eclipse can bring encounters with high status, royal personalities, or people carrying some larger mission and inspiration. The second eclipse, on August 28th, is much more emotional and much closer to your own watery nature. Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces are all water signs, and with Mars currently in Cancer, this Pisces eclipse hits close to home. Expect a real wave of intuition, feeling, and emotional intensity by month's end. Since this eclipse falls on the North Node, it points towards something new blossoming, a fresh wave of emotion entering your life. Compare that to the August 12th eclipse, which fell on the South Node and symbolized something familiar. An old project, an old boss, something finally paying off but with a distinct, "I've done this before" feeling. The August 28th eclipse is the opposite. New feelings, new emotional color entering your life, tied especially to the people closest to you. Family, loved ones, the people you hold dear. So that's the overall shape of August for Scorpio. Sharp and strategic through August 10th, then a deep shift into intuition, feeling, and emotional connection as the eclipse corridor takes hold. Dear Sagittarius, August could be one of the biggest turning point months of the year for you. Your ruling planet Jupiter is now in Leo, the sign of public figures, government officials, influencers, big personalities with style and status. You're becoming one of those personalities too. Beyond that, a huge amount of Leo energy is entering your life this month. Status, popularity, well-known brands, and opportunities to collaborate and scale up in a big way. For the first half of the year, Jupiter sat quietly in Cancer, keeping things low-key and comfortable, cozy, private, not particularly interested in loud achievements. Jupiter in Leo is the opposite, deeply ambitious, hungry for the stage, the spotlight, the chance to shine in front of people. You're about to become a lot more visible. Jupiter moved into Leo back on June 30th and gathered real momentum through July, especially in the second half. If you've noticed opportunities and interesting projects finding you lately, that's likely the start of it. After months of Jupiter keeping you in more private territory, you're now stepping into the light. August amplifies all of that, thanks to the August 12th eclipse in Leo. Think of it as a launch pad for popularity and bigger, more ambitious projects. While July was mostly about you personally driving things forward through effort and initiative, August brings in reinforcements, Mercury, and by month's end, Saturn, both joining forces with Jupiter. What started as an inspiring dream begins turning into concrete plans and details around August 15th, and by the end of the month, thanks to Saturn, it shifts from an exciting idea that fires me up into something real, grounded, and long-term. There's a second eclipse to watch on August 28th in Pisces, and this one is entirely different in flavor. While the first half of August is all about public success, visibility, and stepping into a leadership or high-status role, the Pisces eclipse is purely about your emotional inner world. Nothing to do with public life at all. It's about what genuinely matters to you emotionally, tied to the people closest to you. This eclipse forms a hard aspect with Uranus, so expect it to stir up your emotional depths almost like an underwater earthquake. A lot of revelations, insights, and honest self-examination. Emotional truths that have been sitting quietly under the surface may break through into full awareness. Call it an emotional revolution or an emotional tornado. Either way, it'll be felt. On the love life front, relationship storylines this month tend to run on that same fiery energy. Admiration, compliments, one partner shining as the star of the pair. It's less about pure equality and more about inspiration. Either you need someone to admire or you become the person your partner takes pride in. That dynamic peaks around the 15th, when you'll likely feel real support and admiration flowing between you and someone close. Keep in mind, though, that most of this fiery relationship energy this month connects to the South Node, meaning it's less about brand new romance and more about something already established getting a fresh jolt of pride and inspiration. If you're looking for something genuinely new in your love life with no sense of déjà vu, I'd watch the very end of the month instead, around the Pisces eclipse on the 28th, which is far more likely to bring something unexpected. If a new relationship does show up around mid-August, expect it to feel oddly familiar, almost like someone you've met before or a near copy of a past connection, because the August 12th eclipse carries such a strong South Node. I already know this quality. You'll instinctively understand how to navigate it like you've done it all before. Anything truly unpredictable and head over heels in the romantic department is more likely to show up later, around the 28th. One more note, Jupiter in Leo carries a lot of noble, dignified energy. It isn't especially diplomatic, but it also doesn't go looking for conflict. Think of a monarch who simply wouldn't lower themselves to petty arguments. Even if Jupiter occasionally pushes back against a crowd or a group, it does so with dignity and confidence rather than aggression. So, I wouldn't expect much real conflict from this transit. On timing, if you didn't feel Jupiter's inspiring pull clearly in the second half of July, expect it to show up unmistakably between August 12th and 18th. That's the real acceleration point this month, where things genuinely start moving fast. Dear Capricorn, here's the forecast for August and what's genuinely significant about it. August is the eclipse corridor month, and eclipses set off cycles that run 9 to 18 years. So, whatever gets triggered here could be a long-term storyline, something connecting to the distant past and stretching far into the future. What makes this month even more significant? The eclipse axis and its energy resonate strongly with your ruling planet, Saturn, which recently moved into Aries. The start of Saturn's new roughly 30-year journey through all 12 signs. Saturn in Aries carries a real pioneer spirit. I'm ready for a new chapter, a whole new phase of life. There's a seed for some big new mission taking shape. That concept, a new mission taking root, lines up beautifully with August. Saturn's move into Aries back in March/April may have felt like your first solo test of this new life cycle, but often without much visible support from the outside world. Like you were quietly figuring things out on your own. August changes that. It's when this new path starts picking up people, circumstances, organizations, and real momentum. The wings that let you actually rise to this new level. August is a socially charged month. Jupiter, now in Leo, forms a strong aspect to your Saturn in the second half of the month. Jupiter is the planet of status, power, popularity. Think influencers, major brands, prestigious organizations that dominate their markets. Jupiter is always about expanding horizons, chasing the big, bold, world-shaking project. As Jupiter in Leo starts syncing up with your Saturn, you begin building longer-term connections with big brands, major organizations, high-status people, possibly military figures or people in genuinely powerful positions. These Jupiter-type people and opportunities start actively reaching out and wanting to collaborate with you. You may have already noticed the first signs of Jupiter people showing up around July 24th to 28th. A fuller, more solid partnership where these influential people are genuinely counting on you as part of something big is more likely from the second half of August onward. So August is where the social web really builds out. People, connections, a clear sense that you're on your path and moving well along it. Now, about your personal life. While Jupiter was in Cancer, it acted as a big harmonizer for your romantic life. With Jupiter now in Leo, if you're a Capricorn rising, it stays active in your relationship sector. For Capricorn suns, its influence there fades and attention shifts more toward career. There's a real chance August pulls your focus almost entirely toward professional momentum, leaving less room or interest in personal matters, simply because there's so much exciting career movement happening. That said, Jupiter in Leo can also bring genuinely magnetic partners into your life. People who feel like stars, whether that's collaborators like influencers or celebrities, or actual romantic interest with real charisma and intensity. So, don't rule out your love life getting a fiery, dramatic flair this month. Passion loves a little spectacle. Still, I'd expect most of August's energy to lean toward career and social realization rather than romance. The real pivot point of the month is the eclipse at the end of August. Everything described so far connects to the August 12th eclipse in Leo. The career momentum, the Leo show, the dramatic romantic possibilities. That's the solar new moon side of this eclipse corridor, energy focused on achievement and realization. The August 28th eclipse is the other side of the coin, a full moon eclipse in Pisces, all about emotion and feeling rather than action. It forms a hard aspect to Uranus, meaning wildly unpredictable swings of emotion, mood, and inspiration, creative and chaotic, resistant to any structure or plan. Where the first half of August is focused and driven, the tail end turns into something much more chaotic and emotionally intense. Feelings jumping around unpredictably, hard to plan for or make sense of. For a grounded sign like Capricorn, that's not exactly your comfort zone. But here's the silver lining. This eclipse falls on the North Node, meaning something genuinely fresh comes out of all that chaos. Amid the slightly silly, unpredictable behavior, there's a real sense of renewal, like awakening a playful, unpredictable inner child. Kids and younger people especially may be extra rowdy and free-spirited during this window, and even adults might feel that same childlike energy creeping in. If you've got grandkids around, this could be a lovely stretch to revisit something whimsical together, like reading Alice in Wonderland. Since these final days of August genuinely carry that Wonderland quality. That's the overall picture for Capricorn this August. Career and status take center stage through most of the month, with a wilder, more emotional, refreshingly childlike twist arriving right at the end. Dear Aquarius, August is the eclipse month, and this time, the eclipse axis has shifted directly onto your sign, Aquarius and Leo. That means this month, and really all of 2027 as this axis keeps activating, symbolizes your entire reality getting turned upside down, reshaped, and transformed. Some context first. Uranus moved into Gemini this summer. In astrology, Uranus governs our mental world, how we process information, coordinate our lives, our sense of mental clarity, and mental health too. This shift is genuinely significant. We're entering the most intense stretch of what astrologers have called, for the past 100 years, the Age of Aquarius. The era kicked off by electricity, then radio, TV, and the internet, each wave rewiring how humanity thinks, communicates, and processes information. The real turbulence, the sonic boom moment of this whole century-long shift, is happening right now in these coming years, with Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius overlapping. Aquarius feels this transformation more directly than almost anyone because you're at the center of it. If you haven't felt Uranus in Gemini or Pluto in Aquarius shake things up yet, this August, and really all of 2027 as the eclipse axis runs straight through your sign, is when it'll finally catch up with you. For some, it'll feel disruptive. For others, it'll feel like waking up. Timing. The July 29th full moon in Aquarius sits just a couple of degrees short of a true eclipse, close enough that I'd consider it the opening of your eclipse corridor. From there, the first real eclipse hits August 12th in Leo, and the second comes August 28th, a full moon eclipse in Pisces. So August essentially wraps its arms around you and starts restructuring your reality from the very first days. Here's the genuinely interesting twist that most horoscopes won't mention. In any eclipse pair, one eclipse sits on the south node, the past, and effectively acts as a donor. It represents power, success, and status, but it exists to hand energy over to the other eclipse, the one on the north node, the future. This August, the donor eclipse is August 12th in Leo on the south node. It represents old power, successful, glamorous, high-status people, influencers, celebrities, people with genuine royal-level status or social standing. But here's the catch. Despite all that glitter and gold, this kind of power tends to get a little bored of itself. It usually has some soft spot, a favorite grandchild, a beloved hobby, a passion project, some community it can't resist. And the key point is, even though the August 12th eclipse represents power in all its glory, it's a donor, donating its energy toward the North Node, which right now sits in your sign, Aquarius. That's a genuinely fun cosmic irony. All these bold, Leo Jupiter type larger-than-life characters this August. Even if you don't cross paths with one directly, any interaction you do have with fiery, powerful people this month tends to end up tilting in your favor. The energy ultimately flows toward you because the future node is sitting right in your sign. That July 29th full moon might be your first taste of this, like being at your own birthday party, surrounded by impressive, larger-than-life guests. A famous singer shows up, a cool, high-status friend swings by, but somehow all that attention and energy still circles back to you. It's your night, even with all these bright personalities in the room. Since the North Node stays in Aquarius through the eclipses of 2027 as well, this entire stretch, the second half of 2026 and all of 2027, is essentially facing toward you. Power gets handed over from the bold, confident Leo archetype into the hands of the creative, unconventional, surprise-loving Aquarius. Expect a real influx of opportunity and resources redirected your way over this period. It's genuinely fun to watch this play out in any conflict too. If a Leo-type figure and an Aquarius end up butting heads sometime across late 2026 or 2027, the outcome tends to tip in the Aquarian's favor. That's simply how the energy flows from the past node to the future node right now. So keep that in mind as August unfolds. The July 29th full moon marks the real starting gun, even though it's not technically a full eclipse yet. The game is already underway, and the odds are quietly stacking in your favor. Dear Pisces, we're in the eclipse corridor now. A lively, eventful stretch, and honestly, a real show for everyone. Nobody sits this one out. What makes it especially significant for you? Both of your ruling planets, Neptune and Jupiter, currently sit in fire signs, signs all about leadership, independence, and enthusiasm. Jupiter in Leo especially points to a much higher level of visibility, a real pull toward performing, stepping into the spotlight, being seen, and yes, sometimes even getting a little too caught up in the attention. Watch for that especially around August 17th to 24th under the black moon. But overall, becoming more visible in the world is the defining theme of this August for Pisces, thanks to Jupiter sitting in your ruling sign's fire placement Leo. Here's the interesting part. Pisces is naturally a modest, reserved sign, not usually eager to step into the spotlight, but we're entering a stretch, running roughly a full year with Jupiter in Leo and Neptune in Aries, where you'll feel a genuine pull to finally step out and take on some kind of public role or visibility. You're moving out of your usual quiet private waters and into visible, social projects, places with attention, audiences, engagement. This plays especially well for social media and content creation. You might genuinely fall in love with it. If you notice yourself craving that spotlight this August, hand me the mic, let me say something, let me show what I've got. That's this transit talking. Another big piece of Jupiter in Leo, originality, doing something nobody else does, something with your own creative signature, your own method, your own unique perspective, and standing firmly behind it, refusing to bend to anyone else's opinion, defending your vision confidently, even a little selfishly at times. This is a fairly unusual energy for Pisces, who normally reads the room, adapts, and picks up on subtle emotional cues in the water around you. This transit is teaching you to be a bit bolder, more forceful, more visible, even a little brash. Step by step, day by day, August builds that courage. There's a nuance worth noting here. Boldness dialed up too far can tip into rudeness, more of an Aries trait, but Leo's version of boldness carries genuine charisma and confidence, so the same directness that might read as pushy elsewhere tends to come across here as natural authority. The king simply takes what's his. You're essentially being handed a royal robe this month. Whether it fits comfortably yet is a separate question, but you're wearing it either way, thanks to Jupiter in Leo, for the better part of a year, through next summer. If it feels awkward now, you'll likely grow into it. Here's a key detail. The Leo eclipses connected to Jupiter fall on the south node, meaning this royal territory is actually familiar to you already. The August 12th eclipse lights up this potential, but it comes with a strong sense of déjà vu. You've worn something like this crown before. The people, the leadership role, the Leo circle gathering around you, even the administrative or managerial function you may be offered. All of it may echo something from 10 or 20 years ago. Familiar ground, not something brand new. The second eclipse, on August 28th, falls right in your own sign, Pisces, and this one is a completely different story. It sits on the north node, meaning it brings something genuinely new, fresh, and startling, a jolt to your usual reality. It's got a childlike wonder to it. Wow, life still has surprises left. This eclipse squares Uranus, so expect one emotional surprise after another with zero predictability. Where you'll live, who with, which direction your life takes next, all of it up for reshuffling in unexpected ways. So, the contrast between the two eclipses is stark. August 12th in Leo is familiar territory, bold and public, but in a way that feels almost predictable, like putting on a role you've played before. August 28th in Pisces is the opposite, full of surprise, spontaneity, and genuine life still has tricks up its sleeve wonder. For you specifically, the Pisces eclipse on the 28th matters most for your creative power and inner emotional world, while the August 12th Leo eclipse matters more for your career and public role. And that completes our full breakdown of the August 2026 eclipse corridor. Whether this portal brings unexpected breakthroughs, heavy releases, or brand new chapters, remember, eclipse energy is always moving you toward your highest alignment. Trust where the universe is guiding you this month. Thank you so much for watching, keep shining, and I'll see you in the next video.